ODB to me was always the nucleus to our family, you know what I mean? He was the nucleus to the movement we created. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, RZA did ignite the wu-tang story and make it interesting, but Dirty was RZA's battery. Dirty was always outspoken. Dirty loved hip-hop. He would love to take RZA all over Brooklyn because, you know, RZA was in Staten Island, so he would come and scoop RZA up and take him all through Brooklyn. They'd be on the train, you know, whether they in Macy's, robbing, stealing, boosting. You know, this is all the stuff that we used to do, but Dirty was in love with hip-hop crazy back then, especially when the early 80s, when 87, 88, when, you know, Biz and all them was up in there and they was doing their thing, the Vapors and all of that. Biz was kind of crazy in his own little way. So Dirty kind of felt like not only him being a rapper, he was the rap professor, a beatbox nigga. So, you know, he would be doing a lot of beatboxing and RZA had rhymes, but he was a DJ. You see what I'm saying? These cats was dealing with multiple things as far as being in the music business, you know what I mean? They had multiple talents. Dirty, like I said, he was the one that actually was the cheerleader, the mascot. Then he became the general. Then he became the psychologist to us, you know what I mean? To really keep us motivated and, you know, let us know who we are and don't forget. It's like he was a father to niggas, you know what I mean? He was goofy. He would make us step into a place super confident about what we are. Like, he been knew we was Wu-Tang rocks the world. Like, you know, that was always his attitude, and that was, to me, the battery that we needed to get to the next level. It's many memorable stories that I got of ODB. You know, like I said, that brother right there is just amazing within itself, you know. One story we had was we all was, you know, because even when we was on the road, we was still fucking around, smoking dust and all that shit. Like, you know, some dudes still had habits that was just habits because we was associated with that kind of crowd of niggas, you know what I mean? Like I said, for every Wu-Tang member, he has his own entourage. That's why we was always so deep. You know what I mean? Because you got 9 brothers and you may know 10 dudes and you may know 8 and you may know 6. You may be with the normal 3 that you with. He come with 12. You know what I mean? That's 60 niggas right there. So everybody had an audience of dudes they ran with. And at that time, we was around RZA's crew of dudes. And you know, these niggas is just hooded out, whatever. So one night we was all in we was in the room, smoking dust, you know what I mean? Just boom, 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 you know what I mean? You know, dust is like that embalming fluid, you know what I mean? So boom, you know, we in there blowing. Why me, Dirty, RZA, a couple other brothers from the hood, I think we wound up doing like 900 push-ups that day. You know what I mean? A piece. Like, we all just was getting on the floor, like just getting it in. Some niggas was doing like, was that 1,200? You know, we smoking dust, amped up, like, yeah, come on. You know what I mean? I think Dirty did about like 1,100 that night. You know what I mean? I did about 950. You know what I mean? I ain't remind you, I ain't never did that many push-ups in my life. I did so many push-ups that goddamn day that I wasn't even dusted no more. I wiped that shit right out my body. Like, you know how you can feel it coming? Well, I don't know. Y'all never smoked dust before, but you know what I'm saying? It's like we wiped all that shit out of our body. Like, that shit just leaked out of nigga pores, and I was sober after that. Like, damn, that was some shit. But Dirty, he's an amazing individual, man. That's one of the memories I can remember, because he was the one that was definitely amping everybody up. Like, yeah, get it in. That's 20. That's 40. That's 90. He's like, word? Yeah, I jump on. Next nigga jump on. Everybody's counting their numbers loud. Yeah. We did like I did like 970 that night. I was good. It was a moment, man. You know what I mean? Everything is about the mind. Where you take it at in the mind. See, dudes around my way, when they was smoking that shit, it was all about mastering it, controlling it, not letting it control you. You know what I mean? And that's what made the drug so ill to us, because we wanted you to think that we wasn't high when we was flusty. You know what I'm saying? I stopped smoking dust a long time ago, but that high right there, you don't want that high. You don't want that one, because that one is like being drunk and smoking 1,500 bags of kush, good, fresh kush. Just imagine doing all that at one time and drinking like 100 bottles of Hennessy. all at one time. Walking up the street, like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody wanted to control their high. Word.
And there's actually a VHS tape of this somewhere in my storage or someplace. I have not been able to find this. Was when Old Dirty came up. I think the second time it came up.
No. It would have to be the third time.
Third time? Well,
yeah, because he came up as Ason Unique, as an unsigned artist.
Right. And if you count his appearances on our show via the telephone, it may have been his fifth time on the air.
He used to call up from a payphone in Staten Island to freestyle, you know, before his album came out.
Before it was Old Dirty.
Yeah.
And he came up there and he sat across from Bob. And so Bob would be here, the console's here, and then the guest would be over here, you know, whether you're 1, 2, or 3 people. And I'm over here with the turntables, so it's sort of like a triangle.
So Stretch could see what the artists were up to.
I could see him.
I couldn't.
Yeah, so I could see what's like happening below the table. So I realized that Dirt's got like a gallon container with no label of a clear liquid, and he's just hitting it. And then out of nowhere, Bob's like, "Yo, my man, like, yo, Dirt, like
FCC regulations. You can't drink.
You can't be up here drinking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
forget FCC regulations.
FCC or not, it's just not. On so many levels, this is not appropriate. Like, this is not a party.
Right. And also, if the station manager had seen that, we would have been suspended off the air, which happened, you know, numerous times over the years because of violations from our artists.
So, if anyone knows Dirt, like, he kind of does what he wants to do, and like, no doesn't really enter into his thought process. So he says, "Oh, I got you, Bobbito, no problem." He puts it down. Yo, next thing I know, this dude, he grabbed the newspaper and he's pretending to read it. And he's got one hand holding the paper and he's drinking like this. And he knows that I'm looking at him. And I'm looking at him like, and I guess he was like, yo, Stretch isn't gonna snitch.
Right.
So I'm looking at this guy like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And Bob's just, and then he dip it back down and be like, yeah, we good, Bob, let's do it on the rhyme. Yo, I have a lot of very funny, old dirty firsthand experiences, but that one, you know, with regards to actually be on the radio, was just really sticks out. And there's a videotape of it somewhere.
So, you know, I'm gonna go with ODB is, you know, when he took the Grammy, we were up for like 3 Grammys that year, and I had a cocktail. The Grammys were at Radio City, and I lived diagonally across from Radio City, and we were gonna have a cocktail party at the house. I already knew that we lost, you know, because they didn't televise hip hop. So he comes to the house. I'm like, all right, you know, you guys, he goes, you're not going? I'm like, no, we lost. I'm not going to go. And he blows like this thing. He's like, I bought this $3,000 suit, blah, 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 blah. He goes, you know, what a waste of fucking money, you know, and, you know, I don't know if he was kidding, not kidding. And then they go to the Grammys, right? So I'm watching it. I'm eating my dinner, this, that. And I see him go on stage and he says, Wu-Tang is for the children. Right? With all this, I'm eating, right? I got my son who's maybe a year old, phone. Don't forget, there were no cell phones really then, right? So the house phone, my personal phone line is ringing, my wife's line is ringing, the buzz is ringing to get in to right, and then there's a knock on the door. And it's Dirty. He goes, how'd I do? So I said, you did great. Are you hungry? He goes, yeah, right? He took off his suit, you know, and it was just me and him. Me, him, my wife, and my son, Alex. And Nicole made us a great dinner. And then we all went to the Grammy, the BMG party together.